To evaluate these expressions, we're just going to take this and press it in our calculator, and you might have to press this in your calculator to get the answer, or you could actually press what it means, which is just 3 times 3 times 3. When you do that in your calculator, you'll get 243. So let's take this. This really means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. If you take 4 to the 5th power, this answer, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, you'll get 1024. And then 7 to the 3rd power is 7 times 7 times 7, which equals 343. So there's our answer by evaluating those expressions. To do order of operation, we're talking about PEMDAS. And PEMDAS is simply parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, then addition and subtraction. So if we look at this problem, there's no parentheses, but there's an exponent right here. So I'm going to do that part. I'm going to write everything exactly the same except for that part, so that becomes 4. Now I've done both the parentheses and the exponents. I now do multiplication or division going left to right. So this part has to be done before you do the subtraction. So this becomes 16 minus 2. Negative 8 divided by 4 plus 14. Then we do our addition subtraction, so we subtract, it's 14 plus 14, so we'll get our answer of 28. Now, let's try these other problems. So if I'm going to try this problem, I'm going to do the multiplication first, which that's 84, so it's 3 plus 84 minus 5. And now I will do my addition subtraction, so that's 87 minus 5, which is 82. This problem I have to do the exponent first, that's 64, so I have 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus 7 times 11. Now we do our multiplication, that's this part. So we end up with 20 minus 7 plus 64 minus 77. And if we do that in order, we would get 0. And so there's my answer. For doing PEMDAS with grouping symbols, there are 2 types of grouping symbols. There's lots of types. There's parentheses, there's brackets, there's also a division line. All of those are grouping symbols. So I'm looking here, I'm going to do this part first. So I end up with 4 divided by 2 plus 5, and I do what's in the parentheses, which gives me 4. Parentheses, when there's no numbers inside, actually means multiplication. So if I do my division, then my multiplication, because I'm doing things left to right with multiplication and division, I end up with my answer of 22. So let's do inside out. So inside the parentheses, a grouping, so it's 15, and inside the parentheses, I'm going to get 1. I'm going to keep it in parentheses because it becomes a 1 to the 2nd power. Now I can do my exponent inside the parentheses. So I would get 1. Now the parentheses are gone because I've done the exponent. And now I have brackets, which are also grouping, so I have to do inside the brackets next. So it's going to be 11. And once you do the problem inside, the brackets or parentheses disappear. So in this case, the 10 plus 1 gives me 11. We have our minus sign. So 15 minus 11 plus 6 is 10. Now, we have parentheses and we have a division line. So I'm going to do above the division line first. So 4 plus 5 is 9. And I'd leave it in parentheses until I do my square. And then 7 minus 4 is 3. Then I do my exponent. And then I do my bottom. And once I get numbers, I can then do this division, which is 2. To evaluate algebraic expressions, sometimes we have to substitute our variables with numbers and then do the PEMDAS. So in this case, I have a 3, and I'm going to put parentheses every time I substitute. So I'm going to put 4, which is what x equals, squared, plus 2, and I'm going to go parentheses for the 5, plus parentheses 3. Now notice I'm using parentheses around just numbers for my substitution. So I'm going to do inside my brackets first, and I'm going to go and do exponents. So this would be 9, this would be 10, this would be 16, and now I can do inside, this is 19, and 3 times 16 is 48, and 48 plus 19 gives me my 67, which is the answer. Same thing over here. We're going to substitute, so 2 squared, 3, 6 for the b, plus 5, and divide this by 4. So now I'm going to do the inside the parentheses, so this is 18 plus 5, and that becomes 23 divided by 4. Now if I do my exponent, that's 4 times 23 divided by 4, and so my answer will be 23. So you do this in your calculator, 4 times 23 divided by 4, you'll get 23.